This is who we've always been. There are so many people that are acting surprised at the indifference that's being shown by all the things that are happening in the US. And I make the argument that this is what the US has always been. What's different is that veneer has been torn away, and a lot of people are having to confront who we are as a country, and they don't like what that looks like because it runs completely against the mythology that we've been brainwashed into believing since birth. There are three things in the news that give us a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. One is the case of Kyron Lacey, an LSU football player who unfortunately took his life after racist cops framed and pinned a vehicular homicide case on him when he had literally nothing to do with it. He was 100 yards away from the scene, and they manipulated the facts to try to indict him. And obviously that had repercussions, and he ended up taking his life. The second example that we need to consider is what happened with Trey Reed. For those who haven't been following along, Trey Reed was a black student in Mississippi who was found unalived hanging from a tree. And the coroner's report was rushed out to say that this was a self-unaliving. A second autopsy has been conducted, and there are things coming out from that that indicates that this was anything but a self-unaliving. And what's the common theme? Another Republican state known for racist incidents, completely brushing aside the death of a black man and moving on with their day. The third example is what's happened in Chicago. You had Black Hawk helicopters with 300 agents storming a South Shore apartment complex in the middle of the night. And this incident involved dragging every single person out of that apartment, including kids, some of them unclothed, having them zip tied and partitioned off into different unmarked panel vans for processing. And one of these agents, when called out on the fact that he was doing this to a child, his response, man, F them kids. Those three examples tell you exactly what is at the core of this country. And the indifference by millions of allies tears the covers off of the veneer of respectability that was standard operating procedure for most Americans. And that's making people really uncomfortable. And you see it even in the commentary class when Ezra Klein can't find moral clarity in what's going on and is talking about electoral politics as an exercise in a sporting event, but has nothing to say about the brutality that's being committed on American citizens. That tells you the rot that's at the root of this society. When people make the case that we need to welcome these red hats back without any accountability, without any atonement, without any of the work that they need to do to demonstrate that they actually learned something from this, that's why I say F that. There is no common ground when you're talking about people whose default position is when they see brown and black faces, F them kids, F them people, and you want me to welcome these people back? F you. So for all of you red hats who've seen the way, for you to be taken seriously, you need to be out in the streets, snarling up traffic and getting in the faces of the people in this regime and putting a stop to this. You have to put your bodies on the line because you know what's going to happen if people like me or people from the black community take the front lines. It's going to be over. So if you don't like what's happening and you want people to actually believe that you mean what you say, you need to organize and mobilize and fight back with something more than just colorful signs.